Hey everybody, it's Miss Cherie. I know y'all miss me, but hopefully. Well, anyway, I've been gone for a minute trying to get some things straight. Welcome to the Vocal Truths podcast, back again. Anyway, it looks like this internet has been ablaze with a lot of stuff. A lot has gone down since the last time I broadcast, and I'm gonna try to touch on some of everything. Hopefully, I won't keep y'all too long. But just an update on me. I'm probably gonna do some updates on the way I do the show, mostly because of my schedule now. So, one update: I have a new job. So I started that last week. So this is my second week on that job. The week before my first week on the job, I started nail school. So I will be doing nails soon enough. So that's an update on me and why the show is changing because my schedule is changing. While some Wednesdays I should be able to keep up a Wednesday show, but I'm gonna do like a combination. So on with the show. So what I mean by the internet and the world has been ablaze, it's been some of everything going on. So let's start with it was some more riots in Chicago relatively recently. And the riots actually started mostly because everybody was passing around that it was two different people that were shot by the Chicago police. When it turned out it was one. So one of the rumors was that the riot started because of a presumptive um, rumor. I don't know how it got started that an unarmed 15-year-old got shot by the police. That turned out not to be true. It turned out to be a 20-year-old who allegedly shot back at the police, which means they had to shoot shots at him first. What the reason was for them shooting him initially, I don't know. Not my investigation. So correct me if y'all know more details on that. But the riot started because of that. So the problem I have is with the riots. Once again, the people who rioted, first of all, to me, that was definitely opportunistic. That came up very soon, like literally, I want to say within a couple of hours of the supposed incident actually happening. So when that happened, it's a lot of people went out downtown. Some people agree with the rioting. I personally don't. I don't abide by rioting because I mean, at the end of the day, it's stealing, and at the end of the day, while we all joke around like, "Hey, whoever stole X, Y, Z, let me buy it from you." At the end of the day, it's a lot of people who, to me, it's just not right. You tearing up businesses, and those businesses, while they have insurance, if any of y'all have auto insurance, I understand how auto insurance goes. If your insurance company keep paying out the same type of claim for the same type of incident, they will drop you. So hollering these stores have insurance doesn't mean anything. If you're hitting a franchise, even if you're hitting a big company, what messages they're sending? We're gonna tear up stuff and steal because they killed us. No, now, granted, I'm not a big proponent of marches either. They work to draw attention to greater issues. Now that I agree with, but as far as actually marching forever and just continuing to march with no action behind it, I'm not for that. It doesn't do anything for me, my personal opinion. But rioting really doesn't do anything but have them say, "Oh, look at those savages." And at the end of the day, the one thing I would like to applaud, people talk about Inglewood and how Inglewood doesn't care about their community. Inglewood people blocked the rioters from our neighborhood. We finally got everybody when we saw rioters coming, we turned they behinds right on back around. So when people say, "Oh, Inglewood to tear up their neighborhood," no, only it's the same thing that happened when the George Floyd protest first occurred. It don't even be the people in the neighborhood that tear up the neighborhood. It's other people coming from other places and tear up the neighborhood and go back home to their relatively decent neighborhood. So it don't be us. And that's if you even know the people that live in the area. So many people like to say, "Oh, well, Inglewood people don't know anything. They hood, they tear up their neighborhood, they do this, they do that." Everybody in Inglewood that I know of, at least, wants something better. So, none of us were actually out there tearing up to begin with. And then when there were actual rioters that hit our neighborhoods again, that wasn't us. It wasn't us. So that point was proven when other residents actually stood up and helped turn them right on back around. So moving on, like I said, I have a lot to cover, so I'm probably not gonna stay on too many subjects at the same time. I usually do headings at the bottom of the screen. Not this time. I just kind of got online to hit on a few points, or probably, well, quite a few points. So the next one I want to turn to is politics. Y'all know that's kind of my thing. So turning it to Joe Biden's choice of Kamala Harris as the yes, Zach, I have a lot of topics this episode, so I'm gonna kind of try to speed through a lot of them. So yes, so for Joe Biden's pick of Kamala Harris. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of people are against it. Now, y'all know he was looking at 3 different candidates, and all 3 of them were Black women. So we knew he was going to pick a Black woman. Now, granted, I don't think I heard many positive reviews of any of the candidates that were brought up. Now, I think I liked Abrams. Kamala Harris is more palatable for anybody else. So I guess she kind of helps balance Joe some and makes the ticket look even more votable, for lack of a better word, because Kamala is a Black woman. Now, granted, she did get some traction for her campaign. I don't think she survived after Iowa very much. So, but some of her ideals I like, but at the same time, her general track record as a senator, not so much. But it is my hope that maybe she'll be a good balance to Joe Biden. I mean, what other choice we have? The only other choice is Trump. Granted, Biden alone, I'm not down with. I don't like Kamala Harris's track record too much either. But like I said, I don't know much about Jo Jorgensen. Like her platform, she's the liberal person that's in the race that most people don't really know about, because most people don't take the time to know that while it's a majority 2-party system, there's usually at least one other political party that's smaller, that's either green or libertarian. And most people don't know that they usually run for president too. They just broke as hell and don't have no money. So you're not going to see them on TV. You're not going to see commercials. You're not going to see them in the debates, because it turns out I signed up for Jo Jorgensen's emails. So just for her to go around and get the word out, even about her candidacy, you need money that they don't have. So I'm just saying, for future references, definitely do your research, not only on the people in front of your face, but please do your research on other people that may not be in front of your face. Some, just like, in Chicago, when we decide we want to try somebody new for mayor, I guess everybody decides that local politics is where they're more willing to take risks, when really national politics is what you may feel trickle down, not immediately, but I get it. I'm just saying, we as the people, period, everyone in America, but specifically our people, Black people, we definitely need to look into other candidates and start big up in people from the local level on up. We all have a role in that, because if we get enough people behind a candidate we all believe in, then we can really get things going. Okay. Zach, I'm about to put that out there. The Libertarian National Convention gonna be on Instagram Live. I wouldn't be shocked. Or Facebook Live. That's pretty much all they can do, because most people probably can't even spell libertarian, to be honest. I'm just saying. They probably think it's a vegetarian, but I'm just saying there's other candidates out there. It's other options other than the main 2. And if we are not satisfied, at some point we all have to learn to rally around building. Like, I keep using the Tea Party as an example. They are still Republicans, but they're a different faction of Republican. And that group of people rallied up, created a whole different section, got some candidates in Senate and everything, and in Congress, and made some things happen for their interests. Like, that's the type of rallying power I want to see. It's like, if everybody's going to be Democratic, but Democrats aren't necessarily fitting, and no other party is necessarily fitting, that's the type of thing I want to see happen. So I'll do updates if I find other things that I can see that's actionable for people to do, because I definitely believe in solutions. But I definitely want to see something like that happen. So if I'm doing something, I will definitely get on live and let y'all know, like, hey, rally around this, get on this petition, come volunteer here because we need your help. You know, because at the end of the day, that's what it takes. And it takes more than one try to get some unknown candidate on a ballot. It takes a couple of tries. So you can't give up after the first loss either. So that's another thing. People tend to be like, oh, we lost. Florence, she said no. No to what? But we all have to, you know, do more. If you want to see different candidates, you got to kind of do some nudging and get behind them, volunteer, put your money where your mouth is. They're not going to come out of nowhere. So I'm going to get off the political bandwagon for a moment. And I wanted to kind of group this all together because it's all stuff I saw on the internet as of late. I mean, given the fact that we have so much going on, it's a historic election. Everybody waiting on Donald Trump to get out. Everybody can't wait. They love voting. Hands and everything are itching to vote Donald Trump out. We're looking to see what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to do. I don't know why people have time or are so willing to argue or shaming, period. I'll just call it shaming, because I was going to talk about the WAP video, but not really the video. It's the comments and the opinions that came after it. Fat shaming, as well as just shaming of Black women, period. Okay, and I feel like that's under this whole entire umbrella, because it's the same type of guys that I'm seeing doing it. So I'm not talking about the WAP video. I don't care about the lyrics. I mean, I like the song, kind of. I like Megan Thee Stallion's part on it, Cardi B, and not so much. She's showing the fact that all the people who said they ghost wrote for her is true. That's all I'm gonna say about Cardi B. But as far as the song goes, so many guys were up in arms, like, oh my gosh. And for WAP, sorry, Mom, I'm gonna have to say it for those. It's not worship and praise, it's wet ass pussy, and that was the name of the song. And the argument that most guys didn't seem to get through their head. Now, what I don't understand about the guys, because it was mostly guys, it wasn't that many females that was arguing about the song and what they were doing or anything like that. It was men who were up in arms about women talking about their own genitalia and their own sexual prowess. I don't understand why so many guys were up in arms about it, given the fact that they've talked about women and their bodies and how they can have them and all this other stuff for decades, talking about women's body and their private parts. No, Zach, they have not heard Lucille Bogan's Dirty Blues of the 30s. I'm pretty sure that was salacious at the time, but at the same time, you know, somebody like from the Color Purple, you know, Mister's father would have called her that nasty woman, like he did Suge Avery. But at the end of the day, when we talk about that video and what it means, most men had women half naked in their videos. It still took a certain level of empowerment for those women to get in those videos and be damn near naked. But it's a problem when women talk about their own body parts and have their own videos being half naked or more than half naked. So it seems to be a problem with women doing anything, and every man uses every man with this issue and this argument seem to have the justification. Oh, well, women aren't supposed to be like that. Well, what did they call the women who were posed in their videos and on their album covers naked or suggestively naked? What did they call it when they talked about women's bodies and called every woman bitches and hoes and all this other stuff? So it doesn't seem to make any sense. But when all else fails, most men go, well, it's a double standard and double standards exist and da 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 da. No, it's not okay because it's the same thing, but they don't want to admit it's the exact same thing. Because it still takes a certain level of empowerment for a woman to stand in their video naked, doing suggestive things or actions in the video. It takes a lot, but it's a problem. And then there's so many was like, well, if so many women are so excited about this song, just admit y'all like hoe shit. It's like, or just admit you're hoes. It's like, we're not hoes. We're actually praising the fact that they have the courage and the talent to still pull off a song like that, and the talent and the courage to get in the videos like that and put it out there like that. It's everybody loved Lil' Kim when she did it, but and Lil' Kim actually she did a lot worse too. I mean, a lot of Lil' Kim's videos was all about being sexy, nasty, and all this other stuff. She was damn near naked in her own videos, and nobody said a thing. Men loved Lil' Kim, loved her, but y'all hate Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. Make it make sense. It doesn't, but it all goes under this form of control and bullying that men seem to be trying to. It's like as time goes on, I honestly feel like, especially black men, they're trying to exert a lot more control over black women. You don't want to marry a black woman. You don't want to, you want to have a bunch of babies by her and then call her a baby mama and say she's not fit to be married because she has so many kids. But y'all want to make fun of them. That goes into another thing. It's a lot of black woman bashing. It's a lot of fat people bashing. I'm going to put that under there too. That's why I said it's a lot of shaming, period. I'm putting that all under one big umbrella. And you're right, Zach, when we're talking about the lyrics, it's far worse stuff on the radio. I have a bigger problem with drill music promoting gang violence. Oh my God, yes. Like, who the hell thinks that drill music is good music? What's good about calling a type of music drill music to hear what is it, a machine gun in the background as part of the beat? No. That goes along with gangster rap and then wonder, and it's like, granted, music doesn't make anyone a gangster if they're not a gangster. Just like singing sexually explicit lyrics doesn't make someone a hoe if they're not already a hoe. So, but still glorifying that music and saying it's okay is just like, it's one of those things where I definitely would never let my kids listen to it. But me as an adult, I can make my own decision. But if we're talking about impressionability, that's where it goes into parenting. Like, if I caught my kids listening to a certain thing, it's like, okay, well, since you listening, because once again, my kids watch YouTube and stuff, I can't protect them from every single thing, especially my 13-year-old or soon to be 13-year-old. So if I catch you listening to something, my deal is that's where the parenting steps in. It's like, okay, you already snuck and listened to this, but do you know what it means? Do you know what you're not going to do? Do you know what's acceptable and what's not? And that's where it goes into teaching and letting them understand. Because sometimes kids only listening to the beat or it's the hottest thing, so they're going to pop their head, but they don't know what it is. Because even me, I used to walk around listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Bone Thugs is still one of my favorite groups. Didn't understand a lick of what a lot of the lyrics were until I got older. Used to walk around singing I Got Five on It when I was like 10, 12, something like that. Singing I Got Five on It. Didn't know anything about endo weed. Didn't have a damn clue, but I was singing it. Knew everything word for word. Didn't understand a lick of what I was singing. But there's a big difference between me when I was a kid then and children now. Children now have a lot better grasp on what's going on. They know more about what's going on in the world way sooner than we did. It took me to hit my teenage years to understand stuff. But then these kids now, they understand it at 6 years old, 8 years old. At 8, I'm still playing with toys. I ain't know what was going on in the street. So, I mean, that's just more on that. So a lot of times, even if there's music, like I really didn't. It's a lot of stuff, like a lot of sexually explicit songs I used to sing when I was a kid. Love the songs. Still love a lot of the songs. But as an adult, I'm like, Dang, is that why they said not to listen to this or not to sing this? Didn't have a clue what I was singing. Didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue. Now these kids do. So I can get it. But like I said, that's where parenting comes in. It's like, okay, you listen to that. This is what it means. But this is also not the type of life because this is the consequence of that. So that's where parents need to step in. It's like, okay, you can't guard and block your kids from everything. I'm not saying let them listen to it, but if you catch them, that's where that teaching needs to come in. That parenting needs to come in. But anyway, going back to the shaming stuff. Once again, about women and their bodies, it's our daggone body. That's the one thing I want to put out there to guys who had a problem with the WAP song. It's our damn bodies. So if we want to rap about it, sing about it, and talk about it, we can. Because how is it okay for y'all to talk about our bodies, but we can't talk about our body? It's our kitty. It's our chest that y'all lust after and talk about in every song and how y'all can get every woman. But if a woman talk about her own body, oh, my bad. I forgot the other part that most guys didn't like. Most guys didn't like the fact that women were talking about how they were able to finesse them. And that goes into the fat shaming too, because some guys don't like fat girls. Y'all want a fit girl, a thin girl, skinny girl, whatever y'all want. Not all men, clearly, because, you know, whatever. But some men, that's their preference. And my issue is not their preference. But if that's your preference and they know that's your preference, which means they know you're going to chase after them. Why? Because you made it very clear that this is the type of woman you want. Which means, yes, obesity is going up nationwide. And which means the number of fit women and or men is going down. And with that being said, if your preference is a smaller chick, guess what? They know they're at a premium. So there's a good number of them that feel like, well, I'm a hot commodity. These men finna pay for me. That's where you get these women who feel like, oh, my time is worth money. So you finna pay me, or you finna pay a bill, or you're going to pay me for my time for you even saying hello. So that's where it comes from, because these men chase after these women, and that's where these women come from. That's where these women go, oh, you're going to take me to the most expensive restaurant on the first date because I know my worth, and my worth has been placed on you by you. So that means you're finna pay. So don't get mad at these type of women for saying they finesse men. Now, if it's a stripper, well, hell, you pay to see their ass strip anyway. So what you mad for? The whole thing is a racket. You pay for a woman to take off her clothes that you can't even touch. And you pay good money for parking, for entry, and to trick off singles if they make it drop and make the clap right. The whole thing is a record. What you mad for? So it's like when you set up a system in a certain way and then get mad when a woman figures out how to make it work for her, don't get mad at her. You set it up that way. So now it's hard to kind of reel that back in, because at the end of the day, with the WAP thing, you're trying to say, oh, women aren't being women anymore. Women aren't being ladies anymore. Well, newsflash, we can't be ladies. What is it that y'all want? Y'all want a woman to be at home. You want us to work and help contribute to the household, because nowadays it takes two incomes to run a household. Okay, be that as it may, but you want a woman to work, still cook, clean, because y'all still don't want to cook and clean. Well, certain men, clearly I'm talking about certain men. You don't want to cook and clean because that's still our job. So we got to work, cook, clean, and rear the children while you come home and get to play video games. And we're supposed to do everything and still lay down with you. I really don't understand. So it's just like y'all want everything, and we're just supposed to go along with it and not feel empowered or found anything that brings us up. Y'all want to crash. So you want to shame women for liking WAP. You want to shame the women who made WAP. And then while y'all on y'all tangent, let's get on fat people. It's like, well, fat people know they fat. So constantly, that's something else I wanted to touch on, just because I get irritated. I'm in quite a few groups, and sometimes the groups are comprised of usually men and sometimes women who don't like big people. And it's a lot of people in the world who don't like big people, and I really don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, most of them don't know me, my struggles with weight loss or attempted to lose weight. Most of them don't. And most of them don't understand or see or seek to care. If they don't like big people, they just assume all big people are like the people on My 600-Pound Life who sit in a bed and eat all day, and that's not the case. But when you try to explain that, go, all big people always got excuses. That is until they ass gain weight and can't lose it. So that's another thing. It's like people always got something to say, whether you're big, whether you're skinny. What else do people make fun of while we're on shaming? They'll shame you if you had like what they call it, a goiter or something. Like a lot of people who have that is health issues. And people are grown and still making fun of people. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, if we grown, why are you still making fun of people? If somebody's not your type, then keep that moving. If they try to hit on you, just let them know that, hey, you're not my type. Now, the people who get told that they're not somebody's type, move on. Let the shit go. Grow up. You're not everybody's cup of tea, whether you feel like, and that goes for anything. It's not just being big. Right. Thick glasses, as my mom said. If you big, if you light skinned, if you dark skinned, if you ain't got no booty, if you ain't got no chest, if you're a girl, if you're a boy and you below a certain height, everybody have certain preferences, but my problem comes in when you feel like your preferences give you a right to make fun of people as a grown person. If you don't like somebody, move on. That's all. That's all it takes. If you don't like them, say I'm not your type. If they keep pressing, block them. But at the end of the day, making fun of somebody and picking with somebody, or even worse, assuming that they like you when maybe they talking to you with a group of people. Like, none of that makes sense. And as adults, especially as adults going into our 40s and 50s, I thought I left bullying behind in elementary school and maybe even some in high school. I never imagined I'd be damn near 40 still encountering adults who think it's cute to make fun of people or laugh and point and be ignorant. Whether it's via the internet or in person, it's not cool. So it's not cool to shame big people. It's not cool to shame anybody, honestly. It's not cool to hold shame either. If a woman wants to pop her coochie somewhere, let her. That ain't your responsibility, especially if it ain't your woman. If that ain't your mama, your daughter, I really don't see why you care. Because I'm pretty sure you ain't taking her back in the champagne room going, hey, baby, you ain't got to strip. You ain't got to do this. What are your life plans? I'm pretty sure that ain't what you in the strip club to do. But, I digress off that one. So, what was the last thing I had on my list? I do know I was supposed to talk about what was it? Look, y'all just gonna have to watch me travel with my damn computer for a minute because I left my notes in my office because there wasn't enough lighting in my office. Oh yeah, P Valley. Don't judge all the messes. I got too much stuff going on, but I know y'all will because like I just finished talking. Judgment is all everyone ever does. But anyway, P Valley. That's the last thing I'm gonna talk about. So, thankfully, as I told you, I'm not lingering on these topics too much. So I just wanted to classify everything and get things popping and moving because I'm still, even though I had a lot of topics, a lot locked up that I wanted to talk about. I wasn't trying to keep y'all all night. So anyway, last topic is actually about P Valley and the gay storyline. So I made this status on my page about how it seems to be a lot more women into P Valley on Stars. For those who don't know, P Valley is the show about strippers in this city called Chucalissa, Mississippi. And so for those who have not watched the show, spoiler alert, since people like don't spoil it. The show is 6 episodes in, so at this point, if you ain't watched it, that is not my problem. I don't care. So anyway, for P Valley, It's about the strippers, but one of the strippers, it looked like she came from like somewhere that might have been suffered from a hurricane. All you see is water everywhere, and she left. She gets on the bus in the first episode. She ends up in Chucalissa. She was supposed to get back on the bus, but instead she walked across the way and started working at the strip club and got some hole in the wall apartment. You still really don't know about her. Just bits and pieces are revealed throughout the time. You see her laundering money. And then you see the strippers. So it's more to the story. I ain't got time to go all into that. The main part of the story is about Uncle Clifford, who actually owns the strip club. It was really his grandma's, but he inherited. It used to be a juke joint. He turned it into a strip club, and they are losing it. But in the middle of it, they see that it's a casino plan for the area. But the big chunk of the storyline is Uncle Cliff's love affair with this gangster rapper called Lil Murda. And that seems to be a big problem, once again, amongst Black men. Because so many people are so threatened by seeing a gay love story. Here's my deal. If people don't want to see sex between two men or two women, what makes you think anybody wanted to see sex between a man and a woman on TV to begin with? There was a time where sex would never even be simulated in a show. There was a time where you would just assume that they had sex because they would show the before, the leading up to, and then you'll see the after, but you would never see the graphics of it. They never had to act that out. Think about back in the day with the Brady Bunch. You'll see couples laying in the bed on like a sitcom or a show, or even in movies, but you never really saw love scenes like that. So fast forward to now where you have gay and lesbian people in the LGBTQ community are able to live their lives loud and proud with the hope that they wouldn't be discriminated against. So when you have a show like that, and people get mad talking about gay storylines or gay characters and, oh, they're forcing the gay agenda. No one's forcing the gay agenda on anyone. If you don't like the storyline, don't watch the show, period. People had the same issue with Empire and Jesse Smollett's character. At the end of the day, all they said was he was gay. I think they had some scenes, but for the most part, it was pretty mild. Now, I will say P-Valley scenes got pretty hot and steamy. So I can, if guys had trouble watching two guys kiss, trust me, they wouldn't have liked that scene with Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda. Because that one was down and dirty. I will give them that. That was down and dirty. And the only thing I ever hear from guys is, oh, they're nobody want to see that. Nobody want to see that. Okay. But at some point, nobody wanted to see women and men having sex on screen either. It was a problem at some point for everyone, but at some point it became normalized. Now, one point I tried to make to someone was the fact that just like it became normalized to see a woman and a man having sex, you know, the LGBTQ community is here and they are not in hiding. So what most people don't understand is while most storylines, whether it's on TV, it's an animated feature, whether it's a sitcom, that their goal is to make everything realistic and inclusive. It's not realistic to have only heterosexual couples. It's not realistic to if you're going to show sex scenes, only show heterosexual sex scenes. It's not realistic because whether you like it or not, lesbians are here and they have sex together. Gay men are here and they have sex together. So you ain't got to like it. Once again, if you don't like it, keep it moving and stop talking about what people shouldn't put in the movies. Because if you want to take gay sex scenes out, you have to take out heterosexual sex scenes. And that's just being realistic. It's called inclusive. So whether or not you like that lifestyle, the point is here. It's been here. And as time goes on, it's not going away anytime soon. So I don't understand it. And maybe it's just because I feel like I'm an ally to the LGBTQ community. I don't feel like people should really be going, those scenes need to be taken out. No, it's representative of the world we live in. So they have just as much right to put a sex scene between two gay men in the show as much as they have a right to put a sex scene between two heterosexual people. Just like they have the right to put a scene with two lesbians, which ironically, among these same men who have a problem with seeing gay men, they never have a problem with seeing two women. So they think that's sexy. So if that's the case and y'all talk about the gay agenda, why is it that the gay agenda only applies when you see two gay men? Ain't nobody asking you to be gay yourself if you see two gay men on screen. Don't nobody think you're gay if you see or watch that. No one is part of the show. No one's thinking that. No one's trying to make you gay. The gay community is not handing out flyers, recruiting people. They're not doing it. So I really don't understand where all of this comes from. Like, nobody is really, no one's doing it. So I don't understand why it's so much backlash. Because if you're gonna have backlash against seeing two gay men on screen, please have that same energy when you see two lesbians. And I don't want to hear it's because they women. Because guess what? I'm not a woman. And I mean, I'm a woman. Sorry. Y'all know damn well I'm a woman. I'm tired. But I'm a woman. And just like some men have a problem with seeing two gay men, I don't necessarily have a problem with seeing two gay women. So I guess using myself as an example, I don't have a problem because I'm comfortable with myself and my sexuality. So I don't feel the need to attack seeing two women or two men on screen having sex together. I really don't have a need to attack that type of situation. I don't have a need to justify or try to control. Once again, I feel like that's a control mechanism. You want everyone to be like you. And if you're not like that, you want everyone to say, hey, my life is the right life. And it's not. It's not. Like, if like everyone fought to make most shows more realistic, showing the hood, showing different things. But when it comes to the gay community, it's like, whoa, it's too real. Don't show that. Also, don't judge my ashy hands. Don't show that. Like, the whole point of a show is to be inclusive, to make it real. It may be make believe, but part of the allure is that they make it more realistic to make it relatable. So no, while quite a few men may not be heterosexual, there are some that are. And I think this storyline with Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford is like a trend. I do believe he's transgendered. He didn't get an operation, but he's definitely a gay male who wears women hair, get his nails done. I don't think he dresses in full women's clothes all the time, but he definitely is more comfortable in makeup, lipstick, and the hair. So I do believe that's transgender. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. But I do believe that would apply for him. So he's definitely a man. He has never shaved his beard, but he wears the hair and makeup and everything. And he's messing with a gangster rapper. To everybody on the front, everyone thinks he's straight, but he's messing with Uncle Clifford on the low. And I think that's more realistic because guess what? There's a lot of gangster rappers out here. Like, I want to say in the earlier, not in the early 2000s, but like mid 2000s. I want to say between probably like around 2010 or something like that. It was some rappers who came out and said that they were gay or bi. And they didn't receive too much backlash, but it was definitely some backlash because the hip hop community is largely homophobic. And they've had that discussion when there was a guy on Love and Hip Hop, I want to say Atlanta, who hid from his baby mama that he was gay for the longest. So it's one of those situations where the Black community specifically is very homophobic, and most of it comes from religious backgrounds. Everybody wants to throw the Bible out there. And not to mention that so many people who thump the Bible at homosexuals violate quite a few of the rules in the Bible themselves. But Everyone wants to just choose the parts of the Bible they want to listen to. But also when it comes down to that, it like I said, no one in that community is handing out flyers. No one's trying to recruit people that's not already on their team. They just looking for solidarity within their team, and they want people to respect the way that they choose to live their life. They're not saying be like me. They're saying respect me how I am. Just like Black people want to be respected how we are. And as at one point I did used to get offended at the parallel, if you will, that people use, but I'm starting to really see it because it kind of is the same thing. We're asking for the same things. It's just that they're more solidified together, and they're able to get a lot more done for their rights than we are. But we're not. That's a whole different other topic. At the end of the day, it's a show, and it's showing a very, very, very it's showing a very accurate picture of how some, especially Black men who are actually either bi or gay, can't even come out. This man asked the guy that's already out and proud in a southern city, a small southern city at that, where he knows that lifestyle is not accepted. He's just the type that's comfortable with it. Meanwhile, the guy that's trying to get next to him and talking about taking him out doesn't really understand the gravity of it, but he still wants to try to treat him like it's accepted. He's grappling with his feelings for this person who's still rebuffing him because he understands that this boy don't understand what it's like to be fully gay and out and how people won't accept them. He's trying to explain it. But the storyline is nice. It's still one of acceptance. He lives with his grandmother who accepts and knows who he is. And, she cracks some jokes. But it's some things that, like I said, a lot of, especially Black men, don't want to see. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to agree with a person's lifestyle, but at least respect it. They're not asking you to live their life. If you don't want to see it, then don't. If it's in the show and you don't watch the show. Very simple. Because guess what? There's a lot more people who are still interested in that storyline because it's more reflective of what's going on in the world, what's going on in America. It's not realistic to only see heterosexual couples as much as most people may not like it. It's not. It's not. And the only gay people are not lesbians. Sorry, guys, but that's true. The only gay people are not lesbians. There's, we already know all the spectrum of the alphabet. So it's either respect it. You ain't got to like it. At least respect it and respect them and their life choices, because at the end of the day, it's their choice and they're not asking you to live it. But at the same time, when it's in the storyline, like I said, the storyline is reflective. It's very reflective of what's going on. And I think it's very true. And I think it's a good storyline to put out there because, like I said, there's a lot of little murders out here that don't nobody know about. A lot of guys would be like, oh, I'm sick of that gay shit. And guess what? One of your homeboys could be gay and you don't even know. He could be bragging about a female he smashing it whole, and that female could be a whole dude. You don't know that. He ain't gonna tell you that. Just like it, guys a lot because they know what's accepted, what's not. They'll keep up the bravado and not live their life because of something they homeboys say. And while women seem to be more accepting because women know what it's like to be oppressed or repressed. I like to say repressed because that's kind of also putting down how you feel the way you are. We have to be a certain way, walk a certain way, talk a certain way. We have to be a certain way. We have to, when in the boardroom, we have to be this way. When we at home, we got to be a whole different way. So we understand. But that is the gist of the show today. I know I hit y'all with a lot. Kind of went really fast. But I definitely want to hit on the P-Valley one because I thought that was important. Because at the end of the day, it definitely touches on a lot of homophobia. It's such hostility. I'm not even gay, and I be feeling so bad for my friends that's in the community because it's like you can't even live your life. It's the way you are, and people got a problem with it and want to tell you how to live it, and that you shouldn't be the way you are. And it's like, who are you to tell me who I can sleep with, or how to be, or who I should be with? Like, who said that was your right? But that's essentially what people do. And who said it's your right to stop writers from putting storylines that may be applicable to this community in the interest of including them instead of excluding them? It's a lot, but that's what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna try to come back next week, but I may take another week off to really situate some stuff. Like I said, with everything that's going on with me right now, it's gonna take a lot of extra planning and off time. Like I said, working and then running in the nail school is a lot. So y'all probably won't see me next week, but probably the week after. Still love y'all though. Have a great one.